You're watching The Source. For over 70 years, Philippines and Australia have maintained strong diplomatic ties, working together to strengthen security cooperation, culture, and education. Now that the two countries will celebrate Friendship Day this month, what can Filipinos expect from Philippine-Australia relations? Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Australian Ambassador to the Philippines, Amanda Gorely. Ambassador, good to meet you. Welcome to the Philippines.
Thanks so much.
So you've been here 2.5 years?
I have, that's right.
How's it been so far for you?
Well, it's been a fascinating time here. It's been a time of great developments in the Philippines and a lot of strong interest from my bosses in Canberra about Australia's relationship with the Philippines. So we've seen some significant developments over that period, which has been fantastic to be involved in.
How would you describe Philippine-Australian relations?
Well, I think they are very close, but they're founded on a historical cooperation which dates back, well, even beyond 70 years when you look at the Filipinos who travelled to Australia in the late 1800s to work there and whose ancestors are still living in Australia. But the modern relationship is really founded on a number of pillars, and one of the most important ones over the last 12 months has been peace and security, and particularly defence cooperation, where we have seen quite an intense strengthening of our collaboration, particularly in response to the Marawi siege and the threat of terrorism in the Philippines and Southeast Asia more broadly.
And over and above that, we also have what we will be celebrating, the Philippine-Australian Friendship Day, which just started last year.
Correct.
It happened in BGC.
Yes, so we were absolutely...
What is this all about?
Yeah, we were delighted last year when the Philippine government proclaimed the 22nd of May as a Philippine-Australia Friendship Day. This was to commemorate the 70th anniversary of our relations. And so we had the first one yesterday in BGC, not yesterday, last year, sorry, in BGC, and very excited to be marking the second one next week in Davao. So it's
going to be in Davao?
That's right.
Oh, okay. Why Davao?
Well, we thought it would be good to take it around the country each year, and Davao, of course, is important, third largest city in the Philippines, but also there's a very strong cohort of alumni from Australian universities who are based in Mindanao and Davao, so they're always very active and excited whenever we want to do something.
Okay, so those watching us right now in Davao, this is going to happen next
week, a whole week of events. Yeah. And
where is it going to be mostly held?
At the SM Mall there will be the sort of focal point. There'll be an exhibition of Australian Indigenous artwork. We've got an Indigenous didgeridoo player called Jeremy Donovan coming to town, and he's a really very moving performer. But then there'll be booths talking about studying in Australia, travelling to Australia for tourism. I
think a lot of people will be interested in that too, Ambassador. Studying in Australia, I understand also that you have this Australia Award Scholarship. However, the application has ended end of April?
Yeah, it's an annual scholarship, so you can always, if you didn't apply this year or you missed out, you can always look for it next year. So, we have about 150 Philippine students studying on scholarships in Australia at the moment, and there's around 10,000 who are there studying, on their own dime, basically, whose parents and them are supporting themselves.
Right. In fact, I told you I was there and I saw two Filipinas studying in Melbourne as well. Also very interesting. So yeah, that happens yearly, but for those who may want to look into that, the application has ended. You're going to have to wait for next year. But over and above that was security cooperation. Just want to go back to that real quickly. You were talking about that. What would be the priority in terms of strengthening ties between both countries right now?
Well, I think defence cooperation is a very important element of our relationship, particularly working with the Philippine Armed Forces to enable them to be better equipped to deal with an insurgency should one arise again. We're providing training in urban warfare, which Australian Armed Forces have quite a lot of experience in from their time in the Middle East. The Philippine Armed Forces, of course, are experts in jungle warfare, so we're trying to impart those skills. But also we have a large development cooperation program here in the Philippines, so we're working with partners in Mindanao to, you know, at the local level often to build resilience and to counter violent extremism. So it's important work.
Ambassador, we welcome you to the Philippines. We're going to have to end our conversation on television, but we will still have the ambassador live on Facebook. We want to talk about things that interest you, for example, work, studying there, and visiting Australia also, and Australians coming here to the Philippines. Ambassador, we thank you. We'd like to thank those watching us on television right now. We'll be back on Facebook. Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.